Hello and welcome to another XRay.Tech tutorial. Today we're going to be going through troubleshooting best practices in Zapier. So occasionally your Zap might error, and sometimes it's really hard to understand where this error is coming from, why it's occurring, and what you actually do when you have an error. So at X-Ray, we have a checklist of things to do in a pretty particular order to actually help figure this out and maintain the consistency of your automations without breaking something or without being able to undo what you just did. So let's get into it. If you logged into Zapier and you want to look at some of your errors here, you would actually go to Zap History. So when you go into your Zap history, you're going to see a ton of different automations. So you can actually click on Zap's run, and we can see that first Zap here is stopped halted. You can also click on this filter and click on stopped errored, stopped halted, maybe even waiting delayed and waiting scheduled. If you're like, hey, did this automation run? Like, what's going on? So when you click on that, you can see, again, there's going to be a bunch here. There always is. It's just hard to keep track of everything. But in this case, we're looking at our social media posts, and we just made a tutorial on this. If you're stuck, check the description down below for that tutorial. But in this case, we're looking at this automation and it says date is more than 1,440 minutes into the past. Whoa, let's figure this out. So first thing we did was look at the Zap history and we see the error. Second thing we'll do is we'll click edit this Zap just to see, what's going on. And is this something that we need to escalate to a further place? So before you do anything, you see that this automation is on right now. And it's, we're not sure what's going on. So before we even touch this automation, let's take a step back and duplicate this Zap. So this is for social media posts right here. So, and this is the one that's on, this is in our tutorial base. We're going to click on that arrow and we're gonna hit copy. And that is gonna create a duplicate automation right here. This is really important because Zapier does not have version control. So any changes that you make to your automation will not be able to be undone. So always duplicate or copy your automation when you're doing work on it. If you don't know what the solution actually is and you're going to be experimenting in a couple different ways, always duplicate your Zap. So let's go back to that second step here. And we see the post date is the 15th of April. And you can see today is not the 15th of April. And it says, the question is, how should we handle dates in the past? Continue if it's up to one day. Well, today's not the 16th, so that's not gonna work. So we're gonna switch this to always continue, and then we're gonna hit continue on this. So that was fine, but you see when I edited that one step, it turns the automation off. So because this was a relatively simple fix for this, for this particular automation, I'm gonna go back to the original here. Let's go back to the original social media posts. And again, this one is still on. And because I really want that information to actually get posted, you can see in here, well, let's first do this. Let's switch this to always continue. This Zap turns off. We're gonna hit continue. And now we're gonna have the ability to turn it back on. So we're gonna turn it back on. And then we're gonna go into the Zap history again. And we'll see this has halted. So we're gonna replay this halted Zap. Fingers crossed it actually works this time. And in just a few seconds, it should actually tell us whether or not it did work. So I'm getting green check marks all the way down. And let's see. We will refresh this page here and you can see, yes, it posted. We have two identical posts here because we just did two tutorials, but yes, this actually did post correctly to the Facebook page, and that's a really important sort of check down list when you go about error handling and trying to capture the information that might have ran and failed inside of your zaps. This copy is not going to have that error run. You're not going to be able to retest it. That's why we needed to go back to the original. But always, when you're doing work on it, duplicate the zap and make sure that the changes that you make on the copy is the change that you will want to make. And if you need to go back and rerun a zap that errored, then you can go back and make the update that works. And then you can rerun that event and it'll post properly, hopefully. So I hope this tutorial has been helpful. There is a whole bunch of other error handling, fringe cases, bugs that we'll be talking about in the coming months. So feel free to subscribe. Links and resources are always in the description down below. And don't forget, keep the flow.